2021 Best U.S. Cities to Celebrate 4th of July. People are more likely to gather together for the holiday this year, whereas social distancing was the norm last year. 48 million Americans will travel 50-plus miles from home for the 4th of July. Americans plan to spend $7.5 billion on 4th of July food. 64% of Americans feel financially independent this 4th of July. With Americans planning to collectively spend $7.5 billion on 4th of July celebrations this year, the travel experts today released a report on 2021's best and worst places for 4th of July celebrations, as well as interesting stats about the holiday in the coronavirus and 4th of July survey. To determine the best places to celebrate the most star-spangled occasion, the experts compared the 100 largest U.S. cities based on how well they balance holiday cost and fun. The dataset of 23 key metrics ranges from average beer and wine prices to duration of fireworks shows to the 4th of July weather forecast. Best cities to celebrate 4th of July. 1st. New York, New York 11. New Orleans, Louisiana 2. San Francisco, California 12. Las Vegas, Nevada 3. Chicago, Illinois 13. Buffalo, New York 4. Minneapolis, Minnesota 14. Orlando, Florida 5. Atlanta, Georgia 15. Omaha, Nebraska 6. Los Angeles, California 16. St. Louis, Missouri 7. Seattle, Washington 17. Honolulu, Hawaii 8. Washington, D.C. 18. Milwaukee, Wisconsin 9. San Diego, California 19. Dallas, Texas 10. St. Paul, Minnesota 20. Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. 4th of July facts and figures. $7.5 billion. Amount Americans plan to spend on 4th of July food. 150 million. Number of hot dogs eaten each 4th of July. $1.4+ billion. Amount Americans plan to spend on 4th of July beer and wine. 80%. Share of community fireworks displays that were canceled in 2020 due to the pandemic. $1.5+ billion. Estimated amount spent on fireworks in 2020. 73% of fireworks injuries occur within a month of July 4th. $6.7 million. Value of American flags imported annually. 48 million. Number of people who travel 50-plus miles from home for the 4th of July. Survey key findings. Travel is picking up. 37% more Americans will travel this 4th of July compared to last year. Fireworks aren't essential. 62% of Americans don't think that local governments should use taxpayer dollars for fireworks displays this year. Declaring financial independence. 64% of Americans feel financially independent this 4th of July. Saving versus spending. 62% of Americans believe saving money is more patriotic than spending it. More Independence Day spending. 36% of Americans are spending more money this 4th of July compared to last year. Around 36% of Americans plan to spend more money on the 4th of July this year compared to last year. That indicates that people are more likely to gather together for the holiday this year, whereas social distancing was the norm last year. While people were discouraged from traveling last year for the 4th of July, 37% more Americans will travel this year. The encouraging news is that 64% of Americans feel financially independent this 4th of July, which demonstrates that we are recovering from the damage done by the COVID-19 pandemic. Without all of the stimulus measures taken by the government to support people and small businesses, the number of people feeling financially independent would likely be much lower. Around 62% of Americans believe that saving money is more patriotic than spending it right now, which makes sense because many people had their savings wiped out by the pandemic. People who rebuild their savings can be less reliant on support from the government, which frees up more resources for the country to use for other important things, like public health and infrastructure. Spending money can also be patriotic, though, because it stimulates the economy and helps the country grow. Around 62% of Americans don't think that local governments should use taxpayer dollars to fund fireworks displays this 4th of July. While they're considered a staple of 4th of July celebrations, fireworks are a luxury, and people would rather see their tax dollars go to more essential things as the country recovers from the COVID-19 pandemic.